I'm Logan Webb, and you're listening to TortureCast.
You're listening to a podcast by and for fans of the three-time world champion, San Francisco Giants. With hosts Chad King and Eric Nathanson. This is TortureCast.
It's Friday, December 16th, 2022, and this is episode 270 of the TortureCast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. I'm your host, Chad King, and joining me today, again, as always, Eric Nathanson. What's up, dude?
Not much. We got a Christmas present early, and we're about to jump into that. Right when you said the date, I couldn't believe it's 9 days to Christmas all of a sudden. Like, where did that come from? How is it December already? How are we done with this year already? It's kind of amazing. So I'm happy we got Christmas early as San Francisco Giants fans. You know, 1 week after having a depressing funeral about Aaron Judge not signing, now we get to talk about Carlos Correa signing a 13-year deal with the San Francisco Giants, and we have a plan. We get to see something moving forward. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really, really pumped right now about the Giants.
There's a plan. They threw a shit ton of money, and we got a guy. So it's kind of funny. We got one Carlos, but lost another Carlos. As we heard yesterday, Carlos Rodon did sign with the Yankees for 6 years, but we assumed that was going to happen after they signed Manaea and Stripling. I mean, that's what Farhan is good at. He's good at acquiring those guys on short-term contracts, and he is still not typically a guy who's going to give out those massive contracts to pitchers just because of their injury history, you know, and certainly Rodon has that. But Carlos Correa, he has a little bit of an injury history, but look, we're in the market now, Eric. You got to overpay for these guys. You have to overpay for these guys. I'm going to put up some highlights of him right now, by the way, as we continue to talk. I mean, look, I look at it this way. They needed a guy. They needed someone to sell tickets and put, butts in the seats. He's the guy a lot of kids are going to get his jersey, right? He's going to be hopefully the next Buster Posey in terms of that. And I know there's a lot of kerfuffle about, well, he was involved in the Astros cheating scandal. And yeah, that's true. And he's part of it. He kind of owned up to it after some cheesy explanations. So I think there's still a little of that, shine off the turd there. But for the most part, I mean, he seems like a quality guy. Everybody speaks so highly of him as a character. I mean, hell, he won 5 team awards for the Twins last year. The team MVP, best defense, those are just performance-wise. But then he won the Media Good Guy Award, the Bob Allison Award, which is given to the player each year who exemplifies determination, hustle, tenacity, competitive spirit, and leadership, both on and off the field. Everyone from the front office personnel to players on the team has discussed his incredible leadership. So, I mean, despite, that cheating scandal, which he was involved in, it looks like he is a quality individual and probably going to be a hell of a guy in the clubhouse. So I think it's not just on the field, but kind of in the dugout in the clubhouse that the Giants are really going to benefit from this signing.
I mean, you would hope so. If you're going to give by 13 years, only the second 13-year contract in the history of Major League Baseball behind Bryce Harper's 13. Bryce Harper's, this is the crazy thing. Harper was 13,330. Correa signed for 13,350. Like, Harper's way better, in a sense. He's going to bring more offensive production. But you're right, Correa, unbelievable clubhouse presence at this point. He's a guy that, when the cheating scandal happened, and everybody on this pod who listens to this podcast knows I hate the Astros cheating, all that jazz.
Right.
He didn't want to talk about it afterwards. He just wanted to move forward. And he came off a little, flippant about the whole thing. And I think he's just one of those guys that's grown from there and learned. You don't, ingratiate yourself and make yourself a clubhouse favorite if you're not pretty much a good guy all around in general. And he went out, he performed for the Twins this past year. He was definitely their leader. I mean, some of these highlights are just phenomenal watching him play shortstop. That's really what I'm excited about, is defensively how much ground he's going to cover, and you have to wonder how long. But, I'm willing to accept he's not going to be cheating when he's with the Giants, and we have a proper villain.
It's okay if he does against the Dodgers. Villain. That's fine.
Right, and that's the best part. when he steps into the box at Dodger Stadium, it's just going to be a cascade of boos upon him. We haven't had that probably since Barry Bonds. And the Giants have had the good old American boys between Kane and Posey and Lincecum to an extent, and a sense, Bumgarner, all these years, Crawford, Belt. Now they got themselves a villain again. And I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with it. And he is a really well-rounded player as it is. I think he's going to wear out that right center field triples alley if he can. And, it just goes to show that the Giants can get their guy if they're going to overpay, and hopefully paves the groundwork now for more free agents and more other talent to want to play with the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah. I think we all agree. Well, I shouldn't say we all agree. This is not a bad signing at all. Judge would have definitely been the top target, but he was never coming here. But 13 years is a crazy amount of time. My daughter's going to be 30 years old then. I'll be 62, Eric. What the hell?
Wow.
When that contract is up, right? I mean,
I'll be 57.
My son will be 25. Like, this is weird. I can't even conceive of that kind of time frame right now. And clearly, Farhan and company and the Giants, we all know he's not going to be an elite shortstop at 38, 39, 40, 41 years old. And so the back end of the contract is going to suck. But the average annual value is around $28, $29 million, right? So I think it's 28. And so the reality
27,
is...
I think it's 26.9.
Yeah, 26.9.
Yeah.
So 27 million. In 13 years, 27 million might be the actual average contract for a major leaguer at that point. So I think that's the way they viewed this. They do their numbers. The reality is they still have room under the luxury cap, right? So they stretched out the contract value, and they're just going to have him, on the roster. I mean, obviously they could trade him, they could release him and eat the money. They could do all those things in the future. Point being, this isn't going to hamstring the Giants forever. Certainly, there are particular years they're going to hit the luxury tax, and if he's a poor player at that point, it's going to hurt a little bit. But the cap's going to keep going up. Average salaries are going to go up. So that $27 million relatively is going to keep going down every year. I mean, like you said, it's already happened with Bryce Harper. I mean, Bryce Harper didn't sign that long ago. And I agree with you. I think Bryce Harper is a slightly better player than Carlos Correa in terms of his impact. I mean, hell, he's won MVPs and all sorts of stuff, right? He's a perennial all-star. Correa's only been an all-star twice. I actually was surprised to find that out. I was doing some research on him. And he's been in the league 8 years, and he's only been an all-star 2 times. But the guy is pretty consistent. Power. He's never hit more than 25 home runs. He had 22 last year. So he's a powerful shortstop, but he's not an Aaron Judge. He's not gonna hit 60 home runs in a year. That's not happening. If anyone expects him to hit 30 at Oracle, that ain't happening. He's gonna hopefully eclipse 20, but that's probably all we can expect from him. Elite defense, right? Pretty much a 5-tool player. He's gonna have that leadership. Hopefully the longevity. He has been hurt in his life, but there's always weird injuries here and there. And they have a cornerstone now in their franchise, and that's what we were talking about for so long. They just didn't have anyone. They didn't have anyone to hang their hat on. They didn't have anyone to sell their jerseys. Now they got someone, and they've built a little bit around him this offseason. I think 3 weeks ago we were feeling pretty depressed about this, especially after the Judge swing and miss. Although it looks like
3 days ago, I was feeling depressed about this offseason.
But I was more referring to suddenly, they started acquiring a few guys here and there, and we're like, yeah, we still need more, we still need more, we still need more. But I'll ask you this question. They won 81 games last year. And that was a come down off of 107. We all thought they were going to win 90 plus. With 81 wins last year, they've now added Carlos Correa, Ross Stripling, Manaea, and Haniger. Now, yes, they lost Carlos Rodon. Overall, would you say right now, before they sign anyone else, before any more moves, are the Giants better on paper now than they were at the end of last season?
Yeah, absolutely. They've got more depth. They've got more flexibility. I understand the Manaea and Stripling signings to eat up the Rodon spot. Personally, hope it's more Stripling. I'm looking at Manea's numbers. It's just underwhelmed me. Yeah. I mean, hopefully he's just one of these guys that they sign on a deal that, like Rodon, comes and proves it. Like you, I'm totally okay losing Rodon. I don't want to give him 6 years. The guy's had one healthy year. There's no need to pay him almost $30 million to hope he's healthy for maybe 3 full seasons over the next 6. Like, I would have taken a flyer on DeGrom ahead of Rodon. Because, everybody's like, oh, DeGrom's injury prone. No, it's just over the last year that DeGrom finally ran into some injuries. Rodon's last year is the first time he was ever healthy. So It's kind of amazing. He happened to drop in the right market, and the Yankees are needing starting pitching at this point, so it makes sense that they would swoop in. He's going to have a tough time in the AL East, though. I don't think Rodon's going to have as good of a year in New York as he had in San Francisco. So I get passing on him, but it was underwhelming. Just, okay, it's just Stripling, it's just Haniger, it's just Manaea there for a little bit. And now just the addition of Correa gives them a deeper, better, fuller lineup than they would have had before. So I wouldn't have said that they had a better lineup until the Correa signing at this point. And they really do. And like, it makes me wonder with Correa, like, where does he play in the lineup? Is it absolute that Crawford's going to move to third base? Are there other places on the diamond? And then what do they do with Tommy LaStella? Like, it's amazing the dominoes that are now falling into place, all based on signing Carlos Correa. I can't stop watching these highlights. This guy is phenomenal in the field.
Yeah, and these are highlights just from last year with the Twins. So, and by the way, the Twins did offer him the same kind of length at 280, I think it was, or maybe it was close to 300. I can't remember the exact number, but clearly the Giants needed to put this offer in. They needed to overpay. He's probably not quite worth this much for this long of a period of time, but I mean, look what, Trey Turner signed for. Xander Bogaerts was 13 years, by the way. Just freaking he was 11. Sorry,
11.
Carlos Correa is 13.
Xander was 11.
He's 11,
like
but he's older. And that's the other thing. Judge is 3 years older, but it was a 9-year contract, so it's really close to what Correa was, right? So, I mean,
Correa's 28, though. That's freaking awesome. He came in, he broke in young, and that's really why I think the Giants were willing to do a deal like this. Is they're like, we'll take 6 good years, 7 good years if we can out of this guy. Get him on his tail end of his 20s, get him through his early 30s. Maybe he'll develop a little more pop during this time, and let's ride this guy, and then we'll deal with whatever we have to down the line. And if they win one title, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, and the dude has an impeccable postseason, resume with Houston. I mean, again, just a gamer in the postseason. He's like a career 280 hitter, quite a few bombs and RBI. So he's a postseason performer. He knows how to perform under the lights. He's not going to shy away from anything. So they got a hell of a guy. I'm really happy they got him, and we'll see. I mean, there's there's guys like Mad Dog Russo, of course, who went a little crazy on him bashing the Giants, saying this is going to go down as the worst signing in Giants history. Look, it's hyperbole from Mad Dog, but because he's a Giants fan, by the way, if you guys didn't know, on MLB Network. He thinks this is a horrendous signing. He's one of the few, if only, media members I've heard saying that this is a bad signing. Even guys recognize, the back end of the contract's going to suck, but that's just the reality of baseball right now. That's the way the market goes. I mean, you can't sign a guy like him for 6 years at 27 or 28 million. That's not going to happen. He's going for cash that's going to set up him and his family for life. This is it, right? This is his payday. And so he cashed in, and he'd rather do that than take, let's say, 250 over, 6 or 7 or something like that. Because it's the lump sum. It's what he gets kind of over that duration of time. It's all guaranteed. He could get hurt tomorrow, and he gets all that money, which is still insane to me. I still don't understand that about baseball. It makes me crazy. I mean, Eric.
It's quite the union. All the union.
I know. Like, if I go to work and, I'm like, I get injured, I don't get paid. I'll get disability, but I don't get paid forever. It's just incredible. It's just incredible that these guys have that security.
The other side of it is if he fulfills and actually could turn into a Hall of Fame type player, he'll go into the Hall of Fame as a Giant, not an Astro, not a Twin, but a Giant. Like, that's what the ceiling of this deal is. That's what the highest possibility is when we're looking at Correa, because he's so natural. He's just one of these natural, easy athletes. He's what you would think Chris Bryant should have been for the Giants. That's kind of what I look at him as. You mentioned he's a 5-tool player. I mean, some of these homers are just absolute bombs where he's just destroying the baseball. He's hitting gaps as well, like I mentioned that, right? Another just absolute bomb. Where I mentioned not really, cleared the fence barely, but he hit the right center field gap pretty well. It's just amazing to see that kind of ease in a player. Like, you feel that he is a natural superstar type, leader type. And I'm with you. I was surprised at the lack of all-star games, but he won a gold glove, at least 2, I think, and a platinum glove maybe. I believe Chris Corbett was telling me. So, I mean, if he's that highly regarded defensively, Giants pitchers, I mean, what was the worst part of the Giants last year? Infield defense, no doubt. And it really, no offense to Brandon Crawford, but it might have just gotten 50% better.
Yeah, no. Hey, look, these two guys are going to be on the left side. At least that's the assumption right now. Crawford said he's looking forward to switching positions. He didn't elaborate. No one's elaborated, but we all assume it's going to. Well, then he said, I can't wait till I pitch an inning with the Giants. And he's such a funny guy. His dry humor is just fantastic.
Oh, he'll get to now. You know what I mean? Like,
he may now.
That's guaranteed. You moved to third for us? Sure. You want to pitch an inning? No problem, Brandon.
Yeah. Whenever we're in a blowout, we'll give you an inning.
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
Do it.
You are the face of the franchise Correa is replacing. So we'll do whatever you want on your way out. We love you, man. We do.
Yeah.
I mean, Crawford wants to be a Giant for life. So, I mean, he's going to have a decision at the end of this year.
He's going to have a decision, and it's going to be interesting because if he is playing third this year, obviously that means Longoria is not, going to be around. They're going to have Tyro Estrada probably at second. I know they still have Tommy LaStella for one more year, but I mean he's just been virtually worthless for the Giants, so I'm not counting on him. And then first base is the other question, and I know they have options. They have J.D. Davis and others, and they platoon a hell of a lot. So who knows what the hell this lineup is going to look like? But you assume guys
Wilmer's
like
got to get at bats in there somewhere.
Yeah, Wilmer's got to get at bats. He'll be playing some first. J.D. Davis will be playing some first, and this is all under the assumption that they're not bringing Brandon Belt back. But there's been no news on that front.
I believe VR is on the roster right now too. They'd have to find a spot for him in the infield somewhere. It's crowded. They need to make a trade.
It's crowded, and that's why that they're not bringing, Longo and Belt back. That's just not going to happen. No. Which is sad in the sense of I love Brandon Belt, but.
So that begs the question right now. Then let me ask you: This is all hail the big signing, and it happened after some little signings with Manaea and Stripling and Haniger, which were all good quality signings. I think Haniger is actually going to be the home run leader on the team this year. But do you think the Giants are done? Do you think Correa is it, or do you think that they will pursue maybe another bullpen arm, another outfielder in free agency? Because there's not much left out there.
There's not much left. I do expect one more move. It'll just be a mid-level to low-level move. It won't be anything to move the radar or the needle. But, they just have a knack of signing guys late off the junk pile. They come into spring training. They do well, and then they're in the bullpen for the first month of the year. And then they rotate. They sign some more guys throughout the year. That's kind of how their pen is gone. I mean, it's they had a great bullpen 2 years ago. Last year, not so much. So it really varies with who they have. And I mean, I think gone are the days of having that, core four, your Affelt and Romo and that kind of stuff where they stick around for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I mean, now it's just kind of next man up. Who do we get off the pile? And I know a lot of fans are kind of tired of that, but it is hard to build a bullpen with a foundation of 4 or 5 guys that last multiple years. It's just really difficult to do, especially with flashes in the pan. Some of these guys have arms that only last for a year or two,
That's the frustrating part.
Yeah.
Some of the guys who stepped up in the 107-win season just fell apart. My one want is the bullpen. If they don't do much more around the rest of the team, I'll be frustrated, but that's kind of okay at this point because they're still building in a sense. But I'd love to see the addition of Tyler Rogers' twin brother. I think he would fit in perfectly. He's a left-handed reliever that pitches late in games, has a great strikeout to walk ratio. He would fit in perfectly. Like Farhan talked about it. The culture. He loves having the pull of anything connected to the Giants that he can use. And, what's better? Your twin brother. I mean, it might cost them $10 million, but I'd love to see it. Bud Light could get a contract and get in on this stuff. It would be absolutely perfect between these two. Like that is totally what I see. Come see our twins. Look, Carlos Correa still plays with the Twins, the Rogers twins. I mean, could have built a whole marketing campaign behind it.
Yeah, it's going to be
he's a
really
perfect
hard for
fit.
them to switch numbers though because they're so different in their pitching styles.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be hysterical.
Why is Tyler not pitching underhand right now or sidearm? What's
Right.
going on here?
I think he just fits in too because since Jake McGee fell apart, they haven't had a dominant left-hand back-end reliever.
Yeah.
And if you want to be able to use Duvall sometimes in the 8th or the 7th inning, like Cap has tried to do in the past, before the bullpen really did fall apart last year, you get a lefty who can handle that back end behind him if you're going to run Duvall out there in the 8th. And I think Rogers would be the answer. Like there was talk about Jansen. That fit never made sense to me, but a lefty like Rogers would make absolute sense to me in the back end there.
Yeah, no, there's no kidding.
Ross Stripling.
I think he's going to be the guy. That they would really like to target, but they're probably not going to get him or anything like that. I have some highlights playing right now for the audio listeners who can't see it, of course. Ross Stripling, another good signing. That one, to me, was off the radar. I didn't even see that coming. I see our friend Chris, of course, very knowledgeable on Blue Jays lore, shall we say. He also brought up about no more shift. It's going to be fun to see those two guys on the left side. Yeah, I think a lot of us have thought about that. It's going to be really, really great seeing them on the left side. But again, no more Correa.
I think
Chris
was the one that brought up on Giants Chatter First to Third the other night. If you think about it, having Crawford at third base gives you a chance to shade Correa as far at second base possible as you want to.
Exactly.
Because you still have a major league shortstop covering all that extra ground. I thought that was a great point. I hadn't thought about that until then. And it's like, wow, maybe the Giants, infield defense, like I said, it just ratcheted up.
Oh, the left side got so much better. I mean, because Correa is at or above where Crawford is, right? I mean, they're both very comparable, both elite shortstops. I know Crawford had a little bit of a dip last year, but he's still a very, very good shortstop. And now you have a guy with range and an arm at third. He's going to be able to get to balls that Longo and other guys could not. So it increases that range, which you're right. It pushes, the ability for Correa to shade second probably even more than he has to because there is no shift now. But he could cheat over there, so he can still get to balls right of second base.
Right. So against lefties, he could. Right against lefties, he can just stand right there, and he can still feel the ball on the other side of second. He just has to start the play on the left side of second. So if he wants to chase the ball to his left, which brings him on the right side, he's legal to do that. So I think that gives them that chance because that's not outlawed. It's just where you position to start the play. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And I think fans forget that. Like, it's not like, there's an invisible force field that's being put up in a dividing line between second base going straight to the outfield. Like, the guy can still range past the bag to make a play if he needs to. And the Giants have that kind of stuff. And looking at Stripling, I mean, he's just that kind of guy. What a year he had. Like, pitching in the AL East against those, heavy lineups, 3.18 ERA. His FIP was pretty good. He to me, is the steal. He's the guy who's going to be really good this year. I can't wait to see him and Alex Cobb together. It's going to look really good.
Well, we just signed an extension with Willie Dills Gregory to extend his contract with TortureCast. So he just joined us. Willie, you there?
Hey, what's up, boys?
Oh, yeah. You got the gravelly voice. What's going on, man? Yelling, screaming?
I know,
you screaming about Correa? Top of your lungs, huh?
Yeah. Ever since a couple days ago, just nonstop yelling. No, my voice. Have I told you guys I've been working at the Peaks, the bar in Noe Valley. So I've been opening up for the World Cup games at 6:30, and the first week I was doing it, I got sick, and then the girl who was supposed to do it. I was supposed to do half of the days. And then the girl who was supposed to do the other half decided she didn't want to get up that early. So I worked 15 days in a row or something like that, waking up at 5:30 a.m. every day while I was sick, walking to work in the friggin' cold every morning. And so I just never got over being sick, and my voice just hasn't come back. So it's been like this for dude, it was terrible in the middle of that. But I did have a little scream when Eric, by the way, I found out. This is how I found out we got Correa. Eric texted us, and I was so sad still about, missing out on Judge and everything, and thinking, and I honestly at that point, I was I'm over it. I'm going to stop hitting this F5 button on my keyboard. Nothing's going to happen. We're getting nobody. Haniger's the big signing. And then all of a sudden I was like, no, and opened up my laptop, went to Reddit, and I was like, okay, we did it. It happened.
They got a guy.
They got a guy. Well, they got, in my opinion, honestly, look, I think Judge is great. I was all in on Judge, but now that I'm thinking about it, in a way, I feel like a money shortstop like this is a little more. This is a guy that's not going to come along again, right? I don't know if you guys looked at what the shortstop free agency market looks like next year, but it's bleak.
Yeah,
it's real bleak. And power hitting outfielders kind of come along a little more than Gold Glove MVP candidate shortstops do. So
they signed a power hitting outfielder. They got their Mitch Haniger, and like you, I was kind of like, oh great, this is it. Like I was on Twitter Spaces with Steven Risotto, and we were literally talking about the Manaea, the Stripling, and the Haniger, and we were kind of like, is that it? Is that all that's going to happen? And then we're like, all right, so, where's Correa go? And we're literally talking about how we could see the Mets throwing money at Correa. And all of a sudden the news broke. And it was like, oh my God, like, really? The Giants got a guy? Chad, that's the one thing we didn't get from you. Where were you? How did you find out that the Giants had signed Correa?
Actually, it was you too, Eric, because I had just been on I've been religiously doing the F5 thing or refreshing Twitter, and then I had dinner with my kids and everything. So it had been about, I don't know, 30 minutes or something. And then I got the text. I was like, oh crap! It's always when you're not looking. It's always when you're not looking.
Yeah,
but that's
what
okay.
I thought was gonna happen.
It's okay.
It was so stunning.
And I didn't.
We were on live,
and I knew that Correa was still in the possibility range, but. Look, we talked about it. 30 years since they got a big free agent, right? As far as a hitter concerned, not talking about Barry Zito signings here. 30 years since they got a big
we got Barry Zito, we got the Shark. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. I'm excluding pitches right now, which totally worked out in all of those times, right?
Aaron Rowan, baby.
That was 6 years, 30 million or whatever. I mean, or that was more than that. But it's crazy to think that they just didn't, they haven't done anything yet. So we were just gun shy, I think, just shell shocked, especially after Judge. It's like, there's no way we're getting these guys. They're just going to go in with a mediocre team, whatever. So I was shocked. I was really shocked. I thought they would be more in on Dansby Swanson for some reason, which is, he's great too.
I was actually thinking about that guy too. By the way, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I'm out. I'm out on Twitter. I'm just out.
Yeah.
I've deleted it.
I
got suspended. I got suspended or officially I got banned.
I was going to ask.
Oh, so you didn't quit? You got banned?
I went looking. I went looking at you.
I got banned and then I just deleted it because basically it said. So I don't know if you guys saw what I did.
Did you piss off Elon?
I did. I pissed off Elon. I made my Twitter account a fake Elon Musk.
Oh,
I was like, he's not gonna ban. I have 8,000 followers. He's not gonna ban me. Like, I'm so under the radar. No, apparently that motherfucker is scouring Twitter, finding anybody making fun of him.
Not trying to. We don't want to get too political on this show, but boy, the stuff that went down yesterday on Twitter, what he did,
man, it's crazy.
Oh,
Spaces is gone.
God.
Spaces is not on the app right now.
He jumped in on that Spaces conversation.
He yanked the entire function off of the app.
He said you can't dox someone and not get banned. And they said, wait a minute, you said this and you're a total hypocrite. And he's like, just peace out, didn't say anything, and then pulled the plug.
Can't tell me that. Can't call me a hypocrite.
The thing
is, it was actually annoying. I was like, oh, this will be great. I'll get rid of Twitter. It'll be out of my mind. I won't ever think about it again. And then I was like, wait, I want to find out if we're signing anybody. I was like, I need my Giants Twitter, man.
I need
to make some sock puppet account just to follow only Giants beat writers and you guys.
Oh, I have to join Giants Chatter on Facebook. Giants Chatter, join the group.
Hey,
I'm just glad that Elon's not a Dodger fan.
I mean, I'm 42. I don't need Twitter or Facebook.
I mean, we're gonna be old. We're gonna be in our mid-50s when Carlos Correa's contract is.
Oh my God, yeah. Carlos Correa is going to be the shortstop of my midlife crisis.
We started at the top of the show. I said I was going to. Oh, you know what really hurt? It was our friend Thomas Todd from Giants Pod. He tweeted out. He's like, holy crap, I'm going to be 49 when his contract is up. And I was like, motherfucker, I'm 49 now.
Yeah, you're going to be in your 60s.
I'm like, are you kidding? I'm going to be 62.
Here's
he's like,
thing.
sorry, bro.
So Ty actually texted me and Chad, and I think he was kind of trying to dig us a little bit. Like, how do you feel about paying Correa $27 million when he's 41? I got to be honest. With a designated hitter in the National League, I feel fine. I feel totally fine.
Totally fine about it.
Straight into being a DH. And
unless he's doing the cream or the clear, because, you have Bonds, you have Big Poppy, you have these other guys that perform so well late in their career. Oh, look at Albert Pujols lately. My God, he had one of his best years last year at age 41 or 42. But the reality is, in 13 years, that $27 million is not going to be as much as it is now. So it's not going to feel
that's going to be
bad.
like your third starter that guy's going to be getting a year.
Yeah, so I don't think it's going to be as bad as some people like Mad Dog Russo and others kind of think it is right now. But they had to overpay for him. They got their guy, and this is a better
clearly
team.
The market was give the guys who are premier, guys a lot of years. That was really the market,
right?
And
what it was all about.
That. It's like. And that's fine. These guys want to make sure that they solidify themselves as wealthy people. I guess that's fine. Personally, we get this one guy on this giant contract, and then now Farhan can go back to what he does, and everybody will be on 2 and 3 year contracts, and we'll keep putting the pieces together. But you do need that one building block, right? And he's a guy that other people will want to come play with. Amazingly, a bunch of ex-Dodgers apparently want to play with him.
Well,
we got 4 of them.
I know. I wonder if there's any relationship with his former, employer. The one thing the Giants have excelled at with Farhan and his scouting department has excelled at is turning pitchers with problems with their arm or mediocre seasons into really good pitchers for a year or two. I mean, look what they've done with Gausman, and last year, of course, with Rodon and others. So it makes sense, again, to sign these guys like a Stripling and Manaea to 2-year with opt-out clauses, because the downside is what happened with Rodon. It's great you got an all-star for a year, but then he leaves for the Yankees for 6 years, right? Because he opted out, just like these two guys. I mean, it's conceivable that Manaea and or Stripling will have career years. I mean, I'm jumping the gun here. But if one of them does, they're going to opt out and leave the Giants again. So that's the danger of it. But at the same time, you also don't want the guy here for 2 years with a 6 ERA as well. So it's kind of hedging the bets, right? And so the Giants are so good at rotating these guys through the system that I'm okay with that. I'm okay with signing guys like this.
That's where the plan is really coming to focus. Like, they understood you have to overpay for offense. Like, pitchers, they don't have to, they can contribute some of their budget to the pitchers. They don't have to contribute the chunks to the pitchers, because they can bring these guys in, work them through. They have the track record. They've literally proven it to themselves. But to have to give a guy 13 years like they had to with Correa, because they had to go that far to do something like that. And now other position players, because literally in our lifetime, we all joked about how old we are right now, but in our lifetime, Bonds and this signing, that's it. Those are the two biggest free agent position player signings the Giants have ever had in our lifetimes.
Yep.
And now though, it opens the door. Shohei Ohtani next year. Is he going to look and be like, okay,
Dude.
Maybe the Giants do improve to an 89-90 win team this year. Shohei's like, I'd love to go pitch at Oracle Park. And I could hit there pretty well, too. I could put some balls in the water. I mean, I'm just saying, it becomes a little more attractive now to a guy like that, knowing that you're going to have Carlos Correa as your 1-2 punch in the lineup.
Yeah. My God, with Judge and what he got this year, and him and Shohei fighting it out for the MVP, Shohei, if he has another year coming up like he did last year, he is going to be the first $50 million player.
He's going to be a $400 million man. Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt that dude is so special. He's a unicorn, He's going to be crazy. Could you imagine if the Giants were in on him next year? Because it's like, here's $1 billion for 35 years. It's like, what the heck?
They're going to be in on him. They really are. I'm telling you, they're going to be in on Ohtani next year. We really could be ramping up to something here.
Yeah. Let's just make it even. 20 years, $1 billion. That's 50 a year. Let's do it. to do it. No, that's crazy, man. I think the Giants are going to calm down for a little bit. This is the biggest signing they've had in 30 years, and certainly the biggest one that Farhan's had, even including the Dodgers. He didn't sign anyone from L.A. like this. This just didn't happen. Most of their talent was developed internally. They signed a couple of free agents like a Justin Turner reclamation project, which turned out really well. The guy from the A's, what's his face, who challenged Bumgarner. All these guys. So Farhan is a knack of doing this, and it's proven to have worked in a lot of different, areas and levels, but just didn't work out last year. And I think Giants fans are upset, tired of it. This definitely puts a little salve on the wound, and I think it gives us a little confidence going into 2023 that still may not be good enough to catch the Dodgers, but with the extra wild card, that's all you need.
Let's think about it realistically. The Padres improved, right? Yeah. I think in a way, though, the Dodgers, they lost more than they've gained so far. In this
but they won 112 or whatever. So
yeah, I mean, they lost some guys, and
they should be in on Dansby. They lost Trey Turner. I suppose they're losing Justin Turner.
Supposedly, that's what the move would be for them, right? But
right,
if
I think they're going to stick with Gavin Lux there. So I think they're going to.
If they don't make a big splash, though, I think all three of these teams kind of evened out a little bit. I think the Giants are closer now. I still think we're looking up, but we've seen that anything can happen in a regular season, obviously. Yeah. But I do think now we definitely have the tools to compete a little bit more. And I think the division is super interesting, especially with the extra wild card. So, to me, it feels like playoffs is what we should expect next year, right? I don't know if you guys are feeling that, but looking at the moves we made and the lineup that we potentially could run out every day, I will be disappointed with anything less.
The Phillies were 6 games ahead of the Giants this year, and they made it to the World Series.
True.
That's how far they were from the playoffs. It's not a
and they made a big move.
But 6 games is 1 win a month. That's all it was. One extra win a month. So I think the Giants are 1 extra win a month better now. And I think the playoffs are absolutely the expectation at this point. I don't see how this team cannot or should not achieve 87, 88, 89 wins. It just seems like they're destined to do that. But last year we thought 90 something, and they fell short. So
yeah, but it's going to be a fight. Every team that, like you mentioned, Philly improved, San Diego improved. Those were wild card teams. The Braves, they're pretty good. They locked up a lot of their guys for a long time. The Mets have been making moves. They were the story of the offseason, pretty much. With Steve,
they got the 2 biggest contracts in baseball.
It's just unbelievable. Like, he just doesn't care. I love it. I absolutely love it. I would love to be a Mets fan right now. My owner wants to spend whatever. I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm. I know,
but you got the
not my money.
Mets are absolutely nuts.
Well, you got them.
And everybody seems to want to go there too, which I get.
New York. I mean, that's the question you really got to ask. And then in the Central, you got the Cardinals, who pretty much seem to have that locked up, and maybe the Brewers would be in there. So the Giants are up there with that tier of teams. Those are like all the playoff teams bunched together. It's not like Pittsburgh is going to compete. It's not like the Arizona Cardinals, Arizona Diamondbacks are going to compete. It's not like the Rockies are going to be into it. So as long as the Giants move themselves into the tier to being able to compete with those Phillies and Padres and Braves and Dodgers and those types of teams, Mets types of teams, I mean, it puts them in position to make the playoffs next year. There's no reason why they shouldn't be in that race until the end. And as we saw, 5 and a 6 seed played in the NLCS this year. So anything can happen once you get in.
That's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of it. The Mets, though, I mean, they're tracking over $300 million payroll. I just
unbelievable.
What the hell, man?
Why not? I mean,
by the way, did you guys talk about? Did you guys talk about the Padres and their shortstop situation? Do we know? Tatis.
You got to force Tatis to the outfield, I would think.
Gone?
Right? That's the best.
Yeah, an outfielder now. Yeah,
I would think.
People are worried about Brandon Crawford moving to third. I'm like, if you're the Padres, just sign Xander and you got Tatis for however many years they signed him for, right? And it's that's Crawford 1 more year, move to third base. A lot of guys do it. Tatis, he's young and supposedly the future. Then they just sign it. Then they make the big splash at shortstop. It's just weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the one thing with the Padres, because I look at their lineup and I'm like, God damn, that makes no sense, man. But I don't think they have any chemistry on that team. I think that is a bunch of people making way too much money in a locker room, not really getting along. The Dodgers have chemistry. That scares me. The Giants, I think, will have chemistry. The Padres, I don't think they'll there.
Yeah.
No That's kidding. What I'm hoping.
Well, they're disjointed. I totally see that.
Yeah, last year after they made the big move, they got worse. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, the Giants, they finished the year around 13, 14, 15 in payroll. With all the additions, they've ascended up to number 8. So it really doesn't look too bad, guys. Their projected payroll now for 2023 is $190 million. But what's really cool about this is that their commitment on the books completely drops off, like the way Farhan constructs his rosters every year, right? 2024, they only have 92 committed. In 2025, only 42. And in 2026, it's only 27. And of course, that's Carlos Correa.
That's Carlos Correa.
Right?
Wow.
So, but you look at someone like the Mets, they're projected 344. And as Mark points out, with the luxury tax, it'll be over 400. But as far as just payroll, 344. But in 2 years, they still have 112. The Yankees in 2026 still have 146 million committed. That's crazy compared to the Giants' 27. So the Giants are still under luxury cap. They're well under any potential luxury cap with Carlos Correa on the roster for the next 3 or 4 years. So the Giants are going to have a lot of flexibility to sign more of these free agents going forward. And I think that's the beauty of it. If they can kind of stay in that hunt for the wild card, or maybe the division, but probably the wild card for the next couple of years, and then load up on a couple more free agents, I mean, we keep also hearing about the farm system, and that's the only thing that hasn't really been developing as fast as we had hoped. You know, your Lucianos and others are just not quite doing that. Helio Ramos, hasn't really been performing like we thought.
Well, Luciano's got to change positions now. I mean,
and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like he's
apparently
going to be the shortstop of the future.
Supposedly happening. He was probably going to be a corner outfielder. So
yeah. But I mean, there's other guys like Kyle Harrison. We're probably going to see this year if he tracks the way he was performing, and a couple other guys. So, I mean, we'll see what's happening. But I mean, even with this massive signing, the Giants are still looking really, really good financially.
True.
Yeah, Willie, I asked Chad this earlier. Do you think the Giants do anything else the rest of this offseason?
I'm actually curious, but I think yes, but I don't think any of them are like big splashes. I think we're going to start to get a trickle in of bullpen guys, and maybe we see one more outfielder, but not a name that we're like watching. So I think pretty much the infield's set. I guess the big question is, how do the Giants feel about Bart, and do they feel comfortable? Because if they do feel comfortable, then that's really the last spot that I think is kind of in flux outside of the bullpen.
Yeah, he was so good in the last month.
I feel comfortable.
I never considered catcher in flux.
Yeah. I think he was so good the last month that allayed some fears.
Yeah, no, for me, it felt good, but I think it's still one of those things where it's like, dude, they know more than we do. We don't really know like where he's at, what he looks like.
Who is our
right
backup
now.
Catcher? Is it Austin Wins right now?
It still wins, I believe. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we got to improve there. I would say at least.
Yeah.
Get another Kurt Caselli.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Good at rotating through the backup catchers. We seem to just, rotate that position in, and there are always these solid guys, right? But I mean, a lot of catchers make good managers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great list.
It is. It's a good list. So, but yeah, I think we all agree. Definitely pen help, and it would be great if they could get another outfield bat. But that market's kind of dried up this year, so it's going to be a lot of platooning. First base is another question, but again, they're going to have platoons there with J.D. Davis and others. So.
You think they'll finally just accept it and eat Tommy LaStella's contract at this point? I mean, they have
so we get anything for him? I don't know. That's the question.
Yeah,
they can try. They're going to try to trade. They're going to try to trade him. I bet.
Yeah, I mean
they'll have to pay his salary if they get rid of. No, they'll have to pay his salary if they get rid of him. That'll be what it is.
I mean, don't forget our big move was Wilmer Flores forever. So I feel like first base pretty locked up.
Yeah, JD, Wilmer Flores, Lamont Wade. You got rotation ability there at first.
In a way, I think we have a few too many platoon guys right now. So there's gonna be a little more movement there. I also, as a Giants fan, you have to feel really good about the fact that we have Duvall, right? Like it just feels like we got the closer. We know we got him. He's good. He's real good. That's something that a lot of teams don't have. So. Going into the season, man, I feel great. Baby. I'm concentrated mostly right now on the 49ers. Because
yeah, congrats to you guys as Niners fans.
Studs.
They won their division last night. Brock Purdy is for
Brock
real.
Purdy is he's the truth, baby. I don't. When I watch him play, I'm like, this guy.
He is.
How the hell was he a third stringer? How did nobody get it on this guy? He looks crazy good. But yeah, like at this point, the defense is so good. You don't even need a good quarterback, just somebody who doesn't throw interceptions, right? That's it.
Yeah, I think Joe Montana, his nickname was Joe Cool. I think this is Brock Cool. He looks like a veteran out there. He just makes his reads, goes through his progression. He looks so relaxed out there. He just flicks the ball to where he needs to. He's not trying to throw 100 miles an hour. And
Dude,
he just
the double fake,
the double fake, Kittle over the middle. That was amazing. Yeah,
he reminds me of Joe Burrow,
and like when
his coolness,
when the play breaks down and he gets out of it, I'm like, man, Garoppolo can't do that. Garoppolo just goes down in a heap. He looks like a 50-year-old man as soon as the pocket breaks down, which makes me wonder, why the hell were we not letting Trey Lance throw the ball, and why are we trying to run him up the middle for those first couple games? Because just have him use his legs when the play breaks down. That's what Brock's doing, but whatever. That's old news. Those guys ain't coming back. It's Brock's show now. Big cock Brock.
I know this is cock.
Hashtag.
I know this isn't a 49ers podcast, but on a side note, I just came into season tickets, so
I know. Cool. So I think we're gonna have to talk about that, Chad.
Yeah, no, I got a buddy.
I can make my way down to Santa Clara.
Does that mean you got the playoff game already? I mean,
no, it starts next
year.
It'll start next year. Yeah, okay, but now I got a good deal because they have those stupid seat licenses like all the new stadiums do. But I got it for like basically half off. So I'm gonna go in and see how it works out. It'll be fun.
Nice.
But back to the Giants, I think, possible rotation in no particular order. Logan Webb, Stripling, Alex Cobb, Manaea, Wood, and Disco. I mean, I just read off, those 6 guys right there. And, you got Jacob Junis on the side, and you got other guys who have filled in the side. And granted, they don't have 5 starters having 30 starts each. This is not the way the Giants pitch. But they always have one of the best rotations in all of baseball, and they just know how to put a rotation together. They know how to get the long man to do emergency starts. They know how to rotate guys in and out with injuries and, mysterious injuries if they've had a couple of bad games, right? Those things happen, and so I think the Giants now have built that depth once again. When you include Junis, you got 7 probably decent above average for sure starters. And I think the Giants are in a solid position there. I think there's nothing to shake a stick at there. And with Disco, I mean, he's a question mark, obviously, with what happened last year. But if he can return to 2021 form or something close to that, he's going to be an awesome addition as compared to last year. Alex Wood was fine. Manaea was great with the A's, not good with the Padres. But the Giants have a knack of turning these guys around, so I expect him to be better.
I mean, his stuff is
with
good.
San Diego. Alex Cobb was fantastic after his first 2 or 3 starts. He was so bad those first 2 or 3 starts, and then he was one of the best Giants pitchers the rest of the year. I mean, he
turned out he was hurt.
It turned out he was hurt, right? But I mean, his stuff was nasty. His stats were fantastic. And then you got Stripling, who had a 3 ERA last year. He should be just as good this year. And then, of course, Logan Webb, we know about him. So I am not concerned about the rotation at all at this point. Yeah, they lost.
How do you feel about a 6-man rotation, by the way? Do you think the Giants are one of the teams that adopts that?
I think it depends on how healthy they are coming into the season. If they have those 6 and Jacob Junis in the bullpen, or maybe Junis wins a spot over one of these guys, I think it's possible. But I think they'll still stick with 5. I still think.
I feel like the Giants are kind of the at this point we're the early adopters of Major League Baseball. We're like, hey, the numbers say to do this. We're willing to give it a shot. I don't see why not, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Junis is the odd man out when it comes to that, and Stripling, he's the one guy that could be a swing guy out of all these guys. But frankly, I mean, like you just said, he's coming off like a 3 ERA in the AL East last year. you don't want to put him as the swing guy in the bullpen right now. You need to give him a shot starting. I could see them going through the month of April with a 6-man rotation. I really could.
Yeah. Just see how it goes and try to protect these guys' arms for a full season. And then if it doesn't work out, you can always move people around. But I don't know.
And injuries are going to happen.
Day off to every single pitcher. That's crazy. That's not every team has the luxury at this point.
Yeah. No, I think, even their number 5 and potentially 6 starter, if they do that, are going to be just as good as a lot of teams' 3 starters, to be honest. I mean, this is kind of where they're tracking. So I agree they do have the flexibility and luxury of doing that should everyone be healthy coming out of spring training. But, yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
I think Webb Stripling is going to be the 1-2 combination this year. I really do. I think Stripling is you mentioned he was like the dark horse signing. He was the one that came out of nowhere. I was kind of like, oh, I have to watch.
Not a name I was paying attention to. And then as soon as it happened, I was like, wait a minute, this guy's good. I've heard of this guy.
Yeah, you start looking at the stats. Yeah, absolutely. And what kind of pitches he's throwing. And, he moves the ball around well. He changes speeds well. It's like, okay. Yeah. And the guy keeps the ball on the ground. I mean,
ALE starters
now you got Correa.
It's not something I'm looking up on a daily basis. So, his name it came out of nowhere. But, like, you guys were watching highlights when I came in. And I watched that video, too. The guy's good, man. I think we're all going to like him.
Yeah, I did so.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because the Gosman goes to Toronto, and then they're together for a year, and now Stripling comes here. So a little bit of pitcher exchange between the two teams, but we'll take it. We need those guys. But I don't know. So what are your I guess with Christmas 9 days away, Willie, what would be a good Giants birthday gift or a Christmas gift for you? What would you like to see them unwrap under the tree before spring training starts?
Before spring training? At this point, man, there's not much more they can give. I'm a happy boy. I'm a happy boy sitting under my stocking, unwrapping my my Carlos jersey. I would have liked to have both Carloses, but I'm not that greedy. So
all right. So someone comes to you, honey, what do you want for Christmas? You're like, I'm good. I have everything I need in my life. I don't need anything. Don't spend your money.
Yeah, this is like every time I ask my mom what she wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fine. It's okay. What about you, Eric?
By the way, do we think day one, opening day, we see a ton of Correa jerseys? I think a ton of people are going to be super excited, but I don't think it's like Judge. I think day one you would have seen the whole stadium decked out in Judge jerseys. But, I mean, imagine little kids right now are going to watch Brandon Crawford be the only shortstop for their whole lifetime. It's going to be Correa for a bunch of these little kids now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with you. I think Judge was definitely the sexier signing, and he would have put more butts in the seats. He's more of a household name, and 99 jerseys would have been flying off the shelf. I assume he's going to wear number 1 because Melot wears number 4.
That's what I think.
It's
hysterical. They went from 99 to 1.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah. Wow.
And then the Giants open in Yankee Stadium, which is going to be really weird because they're going to be facing Judge with Carlos Correa.
And they'll be booing Correa because it's Yankee fans.
Too bad.
How delicious is that?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With the Astros. Yeah.
Here, by the way.
Love it. I love being the villain. Man, as somebody who grew up, I wrote it, a long time ago. Somebody who grew up among another team's fan base, I was the villain. And I love being the villain. Bonds was the villain. I loved Bonds. I was in on him. We have a proper villain again. I'm totally on board with it, Willie. I love having the ex-Astro. It's not like he's cheating for us.
I actually didn't even get to ask you about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm totally on board. I really am.
You're over it? You put it aside?
No, totally. Totally put it aside.
There was a couple people posting on Reddit. Nice. There were a couple people posting on Reddit saying, "Oh man, I can't cheer for a cheater," and I was just like, "All right, guy,
no, I'm good."
Like, well, I guess see you later.
Yeah, nobody's banging on trash cans at
Have fun not cheering for baseball anymore, I guess. But nobody else cares. We don't care.
Yeah, he made them so much better. He really does. Chad, to answer your question, I want to see Tommy LaStella off this roster. It is not the most pleasant.
All right, that's getting into the Christmas spirit. I love it.
Gift request.
Yeah.
It is
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Give away something.
Ebenezer Scrooge at it here.
I want to go to a local Santa with a Salvation Army
Bah
bell
humbug.
ringing, and I'm going to give him Tommy LaStella. I'm just going to hand it to him.
Is he your lump of coal? Is that all he is to you?
Oh my God, that is all he is to me. Get him out of here. I've had enough of Tommy LaStella on the roster.
Lump of coal, can't run, can't play defense.
I can't stay on the
DH
field.
and he sucks at it.
I'm amazed he can walk or stand up at any time. I mean, the guy had surgery on two Achilles, and we didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
That's too much for me. So my request from Santa for Christmas is Tommy LaStella off of the Giants roster.
Good afternoon, basically. Yes, be gone. Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah. I just want them to somehow dig around that bullpen pile and come up with a diamond in the rough. Someone who we think is going to really help. I mean, whether it's Tyler Rogers' brother. Taylor or someone else. I think they have one. Farhan definitely has a move or two left in him, and it may not again move the needle. But I think throughout the season we're going to be like, well, that was one hell of a signing because he's done that a couple of times. So
I mean, that's not a diamond in the rough, man. That's a freaking.
That's not a diamond in the rough. You're right.
That everybody sees.
Yeah, back end of the bullpen with him.
Good.
Yeah,
I'd love that. Oh man, I want that.
Yeah,
I'd like the setup guy for Duvall. Holy crap, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Christmas, it's only 9 days away, and as we wrap up episode 270 here, most likely we are not going to be recording prior to the holidays because most of the free agent splashes have been made. There's a few here and there, but nothing to the extent of a Judge or Carlos Correa. So most likely we're going to be back wrapping up the hot stove sometime in January and looking forward to spring training, which of course starts in February. Man, it's not too far around the corner there, guys. It's going to be real exciting to see what this team does now with these new additions. It looked pretty crappy a few days ago, but things feel, I think, a lot better right now. Just it's kind of, we can all breathe a sigh of relief and just like, okay, this team's moving in the right direction.
I kid you not. I was on Twitter Spaces just like, oh man, this is all it's going to be. Haniger, Stripling. I was in that mode when all of a sudden Carlos Correa signed. I'm like, what? And literally it went from an F to an A for the Giants all of a sudden in this offseason. I mean, how fun is that?
Oh, man, so much fun. So, yeah, we'll look forward to it. Just stay tuned on social media. And speaking of social media, I think things are changing potentially going into this next year. As far as Twitter, we're still on there at TortureCast, myself at ChadK21. Eric is still at 2OutHits with the number 2. Apparently, Willie Dills is no longer on Twitter. So, we'll see how that evolves here. No Mastodon yet. Find me there. Anything else? Any parlor?
I mean, no. What's funny is like it really has made my life better. I just don't open this one app randomly.
Sure.
And scroll through it for no reason.
Yeah.
I just don't do that anymore. So I'm like, by the way, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but this is what happened to my Twitter experience. All of a sudden, people I'm not following who are like right-wing douchebags were just all over my feed, and I was just like, why am I getting this guy? I don't follow this guy. And it was like, because a guy you follows that guy. And I'm like, okay, well, show me like the left-wing guy or whatever. No. So I was already kind of out. I guess you can follow me on Facebook. I really don't there.
Yeah, things are in flux on Twitter. I don't know if it's going to be surviving that much longer as a fairly open place, but
I just don't scroll too often. That's really what it is.
Yeah, you just go in there.
Try to put content. Yeah.
That's the one thing. Like if I start a new show, how am I going to promote it? Because that is the place where I have the most followers. So
yeah,
I guess Instagram. I'll have to focus on upping my Instagram following.
Yeah, there you
TikTok.
go. Instagram.
TikTok might get banned too. Apparently, I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh,
there's like they're trying to pass laws to ban it.
Yep.
I have not heard that. Interesting. Is it all the Chinese connection or something, or is it something else?
It's that, and also apparently there's a lot of weird stuff on it that's not getting like moderated and taken out. Like kiddie porn type things.
Okay, yeah. Well, my son, because my daughter does have TikTok, but she's 17. My son is about to turn 13, and he wants it. And my wife and I actually said no right now because there's just too much unfiltered content on there. So
yeah, it's crazy.
It
gets real dark on TikTok if you go down the wrong path.
Yeah,
your algorithm suddenly starts showing you all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. No, that's not a good place.
So you can be the bright sunshine in the TikTok world. Willie. I'm just suggesting.
I actually do have a TikTok, and I made a couple of videos that are pretty funny. They're all MGA golf related. So
right.
Yeah. Okay. At Willie Dills on TikTok. There you go. Check me
Exploding
out.
balls, Bill Murray, the whole bit.
I have 3 videos, I think.
Well, I know that the MGA championships are over in Vegas from last month, but you want to pimp anything from MGA or anything else you're doing right now, Willie?
No, but I mean, if you're looking to play some golf mediocre style, the off season is happening, but that means we're gearing up for the new season. So check out your local area's chapters. This is a great time to sign up and get to play a full season. We actually just the other day, now that I'm back in San Francisco, went to MGA headquarters and started. We had to cut all of our big checks, so everybody gets a package at the beginning of the year. So we had a 2-man operation cutting these big checks, and it was like 4 hours of like we had a system. It was push, pull, place, push, pass. It was hilarious. But yeah.
So I have to ask: Do you cut them on like giant cutting boards? Like
yeah, we have this apparatus that just has a razor blade in the middle, and you slide it. So you have to put the one big piece of board in there, get it perfectly placed up against the things, and then slide it, and then you got 2, and then you have to, and then we send that off to a printer.
Ka-chunking, the big school.
It's like a paper cutter, but a little more sophisticated, I guess you could say. But we used to spend about like $8 or $9 per big check. We've gotten it down to about 75 cents a big check.
Oh wow! I was going to say the irony is you're spending more on the check than what was listed on the check, which is great.
Yeah. We spend about 75 cents on a check that says on it like 0.35 cents.
Yeah.
Or $0.35 dollars. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the beauty is just a big check. If you win something, you should get a big check.
It's the novelty of it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much.
I think
the
World Series they should get a big check at the end of that. I just want you to run out there with a big check for those.
Or you could get a car with technology and stuff. Whatever.
To hold the big check.
To hold a big check. Eric, what have you got? You got Giants Chatter still going on.
Giants Chatter is always on Facebook. Tomorrow morning's Coffee in the Cove. We'll have Tyler Hall, Charlie Baldwin, and Brooks Knudsen on this week. We'll be discussing apparently holiday foods at Charlie's request. And I'm not sure what else, because I'm sure we'll touch on Correa, but I mean, I'm so talked out about it. I've talked everywhere, you know what I mean? So It's like I gotta come up with some decent topics for tomorrow morning. So we'll probably also be doing Christmas wish lists and stuff like that. But Coffee in the Cove, probably the last one of the year.
Yeah, probably.
Right. I mean, seriously, that's kind of what I got to do at this point. I mean, how much more can I talk about Correa? This is now it's time to just see what happens. So yeah, Giants Chatter, Coffee in the Cove tomorrow morning, probably the last one of the year as well.
Got it. All right, well, that'll do it for episode 270. You can follow us on social media, like I just said. Also, check out torchcast.com. Like us on Facebook, all those good things. And, guys, have a wonderful Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Same to everyone out there. Thank you for all the listeners as we're heading into our, Willie, can you believe it, 13th year of this podcast?
I know.
2023.
There was a post on Reddit about what Giants podcast to listen to. And I was looking at what people were posting, and it was what you'd expect, like Cole Kuiper's show and, shows that are supported by big organizations. And I was like, we've been going on longer than all these, man.
Yeah, no.
We've been around since before all of these were things.
Yeah, and my retirement is full of all the checks that we've been earning doing this show, so it's been great. No, but thank you to all our listeners
for the love of the game, baby.
Love of the game, baby. That's why we do it. So anyway, thanks again for another great year, guys, as we head into 2023. And everyone, we won't be recording probably the rest of this year, so have a great Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2023. Boom.
A big thank you to everybody for listening to the TortureCast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. Follow us on Twitter at TortureCast. You can also like us on Facebook or check out our blog at torturecast.com. I also want to say thank you to Ashcon and Bailey for letting us use their song Feeling Like a Giant for our intro. For Ben Lee and Chad King, my name is Willie Dills saying, we'll see you next time.